Okay, so as a business analyst, so let's start with this first. List of some projects. So please put this down. If you have to write it, it's a recording. Have it at the back of your mind. There are a list of some projects. Here are a list of some projects that an IT business analyst or business analyst can find themselves. What we've done with our lessons is to lay a foundation of different element that makes up an IT business analyst. Different element. Part of that element is project. A business analyst will find himself in a project. And here are a list of some projects that a business analyst must find themselves, especially an IT business analyst. Number one, requirement gathering and analysis project. You could find yourself in requirement gathering and analysis project. This means that a project is already existing. A practical example which you can use to start building your scenario. So when we are done with this class, we're going to do the resume, right? And you go to the job market. When you go to the job market, based on your resume, the client you've worked for, you get into an interview. They might ask you, what do you currently do right now for a company? Or tell me a project you've been into. So this is something you can use to start building your process. Now, in requirement gathering and analysis, let's say a company is looking to acquire a new application for a certain process that they have. If they are looking to acquire a system or an application or a software that they are going to use for their day-to-day business, they might hire a business analyst to come in to do requirement gathering of the existing software or process that they have. It means that the requirement gathering is you are going to be meeting with stakeholders to talk to them in different part of the business wings or unit and documenting their processes. That is what you're going to be doing in such project. And sometimes too, when we talk about analysis project, it means while you are talking to this business unit to document their process, we are also looking for gap in the essence of what they will want, but they don't have those processes right now, or what they will want the software application or the software or the application they are looking to build or they are looking to buy should be able to do. So you could find yourself in that project where you are just doing requirement gathering and analysis on the entire project himself. So it means that you might have those requirement gatherings. You might have several components that you are documenting. What are these components that you might be documenting? Take, for example, you might be documenting the business model, the business circles, the application, the tools that are needed for this project. So you can find yourself in such. Number two, you can find yourself in a project that has to do with business process improvement project. They might have an existing application, existing software, or existing system. They're just looking for a business analyst that can come in, understand their processes, and can help the business unit to improve them. This means that you will first of all be a subject matter expert in that industry. And when they bring you in, it might be that they have several processes within their department that they need a business analyst that understands the business that can help them put the documentation together, the processes together, and also help them to improve those processes based on your expertise. So if you don't have the expert, it becomes a challenge. So they will, in this case, such project, the organization will only like to hire somebody that has been in that industry. Takes, for example, if you have been in an insurance industry and you are now a business analyst, they might likely want to hire an IT business analyst that have been in insurance industry. So if you are from a retail industry, you apply to those kind of a job or project, they might not shortlist you or even give you those opportunity. So you will find yourself in a project where it has to do with business improvement processes. Majority of the time, the business process improvement will require you to be subject matter expert, or you must be good in doing research, because these are going to be documenting a process and also improving those processes within that project scope. Okay. Number three, you could also find yourself in a software development or implementation project. And this number three is actually the one we are going to pick to be able to go through those processes in the course of the next 4 weeks that we are going to be meeting like this. We are going to build something. We are going to take a project where we are building something from scratch. So the third one is software development or implementation project. This is a project where the organization is either building an application from scratch or building a software from scratch or implementing. So there's a different word here. Development and implementing is the same thing. But when we look at the word development, it might be that there's an existing process that they are trying to develop on, but implementation, on the other hand, can be something, a software that they bought. They can buy a software from a vendor and they are trying to set that software up for the company so that the company will be able to use it. It's also something we call implement, to implement the software for the organization. So you can find yourself in that kind of a project whereby you are coming into a project as part of the team. Now, you are not the one responsible to implement it. No, you are a part of a team that is going to implement that software, that application for the organization. So you as the business analyst will also have your own role and responsibility to play in that project. And we are going to come back to this because that's what we're going to, this is the project we're going to use as our example in the next 4 weeks. Okay. You can also find yourself in a project whereby you have to do data analysis and reporting project. So you are just a regular business analyst. When I say regular, doesn't mean that you are just a general. You are IT business analyst, but you are working with an existing processes. Existing process means they hire a business analyst to work with different business unit to help pull report either from a database, either from this department, from different applications, use Excel to help to do data analysis and do reporting. And that's why you need to be good in things like Excel. And that's why I made it as part of a mandatory tool that we need to learn. It might be that you are liaising with the database guys to pull data from a database, turn those data into report, and making presentations with those things. So you can find yourself in that kind of a project. Data analysis and reporting. This could be a support. We normally call this support. Or it might be a project that has to do with migration. Maybe they are moving from one application to another application. So they are moving data from one application to another application. So you might be brought into the system, into the project to help to facilitate, work with the team when it comes to data. Okay. So you can find yourself in that kind of a project. Now you can also find yourself in a project whereby it has to do with business case development. What do we mean by business case development? Documentations. Everything about business analysis, a business analyst cannot escape documentation. So it might be business case development, working with all of the business unit and develop. I had a student of mine, I think it was last year. She got a project with one of the government parastatals in Georgia, and she was working with them. Guess what she's working? She's working with landmines, and mining, which has to do with crude oil resources. All she was just working on is helping because they are trying to move from an old system that they are using. So they have different applications and they're trying to get a new vendor's application. But before they get that new vendor's application to implement it, they are trying to document all of their business cases and then translate those business cases into the functional solution to send to the vendor so that the vendor will be able to understand what all of these other applications they are doing and see how it suits or meets their own application. So you can be involved in that kind of a project whereby you are just meeting with different business units and you are trying to help document different business cases, different business scenarios for that project. Okay. We also have what we call change management. You can be involved in change management project in terms of you come into an organization, they've already implemented a software and now they needed more hands on deck, someone that can help them to manage change requests, someone that can help them to manage tickets, someone that can help them to manage changes within the organization, someone that can be able to be the go-to person from the business to the software guys. You can be brought in for that project. We call it support project. It might be a full-time role. It might be a contract role for some months. But they're just looking for a business analyst that can be able to take requirement. Okay, understand, okay, we have issues here, understand that issue, document that issue, get with the IT folks to fix those issues, manage tickets, manage change requests, facilitate those things, chase the people that are responsible to do those things. You can come into a project like that. The seventh part is you can also come into a business system analyst project. When we're talking about business system analyst project, now we are getting to a little bit of the technical side of an ITBA. Because as a business system analyst or analysis project, you will be an SME. You need to know how that system works. You've been trained on how the system works. So you come in to help the project team, to work with them as they are going through different analysis to implement or to support the system. You are helping them to document, to perform analysis, to perform gap analysis, to write functional solutions, to enhance the system, in every capacity based on your understanding of that system. So you can find yourself in such project. And last but not the least, you can also find yourself in vendor selection and evaluation project. Vendor selection and evaluation project, you can come into this project. Those projects are pretty much very short, but could be converted sometimes to a full-time. Vendor selection is a company is looking to buy an application that they can use for their day-to-day business. They have so many applications out there and they're looking for the best one that will suit their business. What can they do? They can bring in a business analyst, an IT business analyst, to help them to do evaluate, which means they might say, hey, look, this is what we're trying to do. We are looking for a CRM system, an ERP system, that can meet our business. This is our business. Can you do evaluation to how many CRM system there that I do research on them based on our business model? So what are you going to do as an IT business analyst? You have to go through their model, understand their model. Okay, then go out there into the market, do research, compile your research and everything, do presentations of those different vendors, different applications, telling them this can do this cannot do this, and all of that, so that the board of or the committee, or we call them the steering committee, they'll be able to make decision. Once they make that decision, you will also be part of the project to help facilitate the implementation of that kind of an application. So there, as a business analyst, the understanding or the takeaway here is to understand that you are helping business at any given capacity. Like our previous lessons or the lesson you've taken, when I broke down information technology, business, and analysis, the technology, as an ITBA, you need to have an understanding of a technology and leverage that with other technology that you're going to be exposed to. The information is understanding the industry, the organization, and how it does the business. And the business there is what are the business model that that organization serves, and what are the business circles that they have within the organization. So you are combining all of that into your skill set, and you are using what you've gained over the years in any given project. And in that lesson, I also share with you the concept of what you can use when you get into any of this project, which we are going to use that concept. We are going to bring it, or which I call formula, to be able to work on all of these projects when you find yourself. But like I said, we are going to be taking the number 3. We are going to take a look at a project of how to build an e-commerce, and we are going to go through things, documentations that is going to be involved that we can put together as a business analyst if we have a large project like that. Okay. All right. So that is for that.